Melissa. Happy Friday. I am so excited to be here with you today. I am on Facebook Live. We are live streaming on YouTube. I'm recording this so that we can have a great quality playback, and I am hopefully going to get to all of your questions. So I love doing these Facebook Lives live, so you get to get your questions answered live, and also there's no fudging it. When I am live and I'm doing these processes live, you are gonna see the good, the bad, the ugly, the pitfalls, and everything else. So we're gonna start. This is probably the most pre-produced I've ever done a live, so I'm really excited for this today. I actually have like a whole agenda of what we're gonna do. So first things first, what the heck is going on here, right? So as soon as my husband saw this setup, as soon as my kids saw this setup, they said the same thing. They're like, Mom, this is like Willy Wonka. Like, what is happening here? What is this contraption? What are you doing? What this is DTF, right? So what is DTF? DTF is direct to film. You're probably wondering, like, what does that even mean? What it is you can create transfers, cutless, weedless transfers directly printed to film on this printer. So this is a new desktop direct-to-film printer called the Prestige A3 Plus. As you can see, it's desktop size, which means if you have seen these large contraptions for direct-to-film, now you have the ability to do this at home. Now, I'm gonna say this once, and I'm probably gonna end up saying it 10 more times during this. This is not for the hobby crafter, okay? This is for the person who is building their business, who's growing their business, who maybe has been doing a lot of sublimation and is looking for another option. This is going to fill in the blanks where you want to print white, or you want to put a transfer on a dark shirt, or you want to put a transfer on a colored shirt or white, or whatever you want to do. You're tired of layering heat transfer vinyl, direct to film is a really good option. I always say, put that out there up front, because this is not an inexpensive setup. It is not your Cameo 4, okay? It is not even your sublimation printer. This is more in line with white toner printer, with a Roland Ecosolvent, with a wide format sublimation, okay? So that's kind of the level that we're at. We're at the business level where you're growing up from your silhouette. So all of you guys who are asking questions, I'm gonna get to all of them. Let me get through what we're gonna get through. I'm gonna demo this, and I think that I'll answer a lot as we kind of go through, and then anything else, I have Ashley helping me and Keisha, and so I'm gonna get to all of that, okay? All right, so how does this work? So I like to say it's a 4-step process. First you print, then you shake and bake and press, and you're done, okay? So what's happening is this is the film. This printer, which I'm gonna show you how to do, prints out just like this. So there's no cutting, there's no weeding. This is really awesome for if you have multicolored designs that would be impossible to layer with vinyl. If you wanted to put this on a shirt, a black shirt, you're not sublimating, right? Unless you want to take the process of using like white glitter heat transfer that you're going to then sublimate onto. But the benefit here of direct to film is that you don't have to cut, you don't have to weed. You're just printing exactly what you want. You can print a whole bunch on the same sheet. You can print larger sheets. This is just a small one. But after it prints, then the ink is wet. Then you're gonna put this powder on. I'm gonna show you this whole process in a second. And then you cure it in this oven, which is this whole contraption here. This is the oven with an air filter to keep everything safe inside, okay? And then you have what ends up with this. Now, I could sell this to a customer, and they could then apply it to a shirt, even with an iron. I'm gonna show you. This is one that I just did the other day. There's a video that I put on Instagram. You can see, I applied it with my Cricut Easy Press, the small mini Easy Press, okay? So just so you know. Now I'm gonna show you this close up so you can see. Those of you on YouTube, here you go. It's stretchy, right? It's not cracking. This has been washed already. There's hardly any hand. If you don't know what that means, you can barely feel it, okay? So you've got the full color, it kind of goes right into the fabric. It's not like sublimation where it's infusing into the fabric, but there's definitely not much to be feeling here, okay? All right, so let me show you. I'm gonna go back around the desk and show you how fast this works. Now, one of the cons, which I'm gonna get to, is it prints relatively slowly. So the reason I'm doing this in this order is so that while it's printing, I can keep talking to you. If you are printing, and which you could, if you were printing on a large 13 by 19, this would take about 5 to 7 minutes to print the full sheet. We're not gonna do that today. I'm just gonna print on an 8.5 by 11 so that it's a little bit quicker, but you have the whole time, you have the ability to see the full process. So let me move around to the back, and then while I'm doing that, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to set up, because you don't actually need all of this out of the gate, okay? So I have my, back here. I'm just gonna send this to print. So, and I'm gonna come back around so you can hear me a little bit better in a second. Let me just send this to print. Of course, my computer decided it didn't wanna cooperate for a second. Print. Okay, so this is gonna print. So, what do you need for all of this? So, you need a PC, okay? Now, just like most of the other specialty printers, the Roland Ecosolvent, the white toner, Uninet iColor white toner printer, and some of the other programs that use RIP software, this is not compatible with a Mac. However, I have, you can see this separate laptop over here. Is it printing? Let's make sure there's not an error. Oh, it's printing. Just gonna take a second. Maybe I'll stay over here for a minute so we can just see. Says it's printing. Oh gosh. Why does this happen? I can print 20 without you live, and then I go live and like something goes a little askew. What is happening? Oh gosh. Hold on. Oh no. Okay, hold on. Oh, every darn time, guys. All right, I'm gonna stop this from printing, and then I'm gonna start it again. I'm gonna turn it back on. I swear I have done this 15 times, including right before I got live, and never a problem. And of course, this is, what's it called? Murphy's Law? But this is why I do it live, so you can see. All right, let's just let this reset up real quick, and then I'll send it to you. So what do you need? While this is going, what do you need? You need the direct-to-film printer, okay? When this light gets solid, then it'll be ready. Okay, let's see. Okay. I'm really hoping this works. Okay. I just told all my girls on my team, I'm like, I'm really nervous. They're like, why? It'll be great. I'm like, because you never know what happens live. Okay. I just hit print again, so let's see. There we go. Okay. As I was saying, sorry about that. What do you need? So you need the direct-to-film printer, okay? The printer, again, one of the things that I wish was a little different was it doesn't come with the ink, okay? So you need to get the ink separate. This is the size ink. So it's 100 milliliters, 1,000 milliliters or 1 liter of CMYK, 900 milliliters of white. Now, of course, you can get this all bundled together, which is what I recommend, okay? You also need curing powder, hot melt cure powder. Okay, you obviously need the film. I have an offer that's exclusive through Silhouette School. You can get 200 sheets, extra sheets, because with the bundle that, I'm going to recommend, it already comes with film, but you can get 200 extra sheets of film for free. That's $150 value if you buy any of the bundles. I put the link and the code for you up top, okay, so you can get that. Now, what is this whole thing over here? All right, what you have over here is the curing oven and the filter. You're gonna see after this prints, we are gonna put the curing powder on, right, and then we need to melt that. That is essentially creating the adhesive, okay? So you can do that with a heat press. If you do that process, the melting, curing process with a heat press, it takes about 3 minutes. If you put it in the curing oven, it takes about 60 seconds. So this part of it is something that you can add on later. I would highly recommend that you get it all at once, but I understand that a $4,600 investment, full setup, that's the price, is an investment for your business, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, this is printing, so we're gonna keep waiting for that to print. Now, what else do you need? That's pretty much it. You do, like I said, you need a heat, well, you're gonna probably already have a heat press. You don't even really need one to apply. So if you're selling the transfers to someone, they could apply with an iron. All right, how much does this cost? As I said, the printer itself, the oven with the filter, all the inks, all the cleaning, everything you need, the film, the powder, about $4,600. Now, if you get it from Swing, you'll also get a warranty. You'll get $300 worth to Sew Fancy, so you can buy fonts and designs. We are even, for the first time ever, giving a free month to Sew Fancy's VIP program. And then, as I said, the 200 extra sheets of film. All right, so what is the cost per film? So that big pack that I was showing you before, the large, that large pack, if you were to print one of those sheets full color, it would cost you about $1 per transfer. Okay, that's ink, that's film cost, that's powder cost, all in about $1. So you decide what you're gonna sell that for, right? You could probably sell it for a pretty healthy margin. And then if you use the smaller sheets, which is what we're using here, it becomes under $1. I have a cost calculator for you on the blog so that you can kind of see more of the breakdown. Okay, so here we have it. This is our print. Here's the front. You can see it prints white. Those of you on YouTube, it prints white. And then on the back, it prints white as well, so that way you can put it on your shirt. Now, you're not done. So shortly after you print this, you want to put the curing powder on. So I'm gonna go back behind my desk so you can see how this works. All right, so you've printed. Now, you need this curing powder, which I have poured some already into this bin, okay? Now, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna get some of the powder and put it across the entire design. You don't need a whole lot of powder. This powder lasts forever because you really don't need a lot. It's just to coat over and create that adhesive. Okay, so now I have the powder on there. It's gonna look exactly the same to you. Now is when we are going to go cure it. I'm gonna turn this air filter on. It's gonna get a little loud, but this only for about 60 seconds. Okay. So now we're gonna take this transfer that we just put the powder on and we're gonna put it in the oven. And this is going to cure it. Okay? Now, once that's done, the transfer is done. So then you can place it on your shirt with your heat press. You could sell that transfer, whatever. So while that's going, let's continue on. Pros and cons. What are the pros and cons to DTF? So it's easy to set up. I have set up, if you've seen my office, I have set up a lot of printers, a lot of cutters, a lot of printers and cutters. I've, done it all. They offer setup. I always do it myself. So this one is easy. I have a full start to finish setup video for you already on YouTube. I have all this content already on the blog. I just backdated it so you didn't see it too early. Okay, there's a relatively small learning curve. The software is PC based. However, compared to a lot of the other softwares that I've used, it's very easy. Import PNG, print. Okay, there's no need to create cut lines because you're not cutting. There's no need to rasterize at all, okay? All right, so let's get this out of here, okay? Now what we're looking for, hold on, let me turn the filter off. Okay, what we're looking for is for the back, it's gonna be hard for you to see here, to have like what's called an orange peel look. So it's kind of shiny, it's kind of bumpy, and that is now the adhesive is on there. So now we're ready to put this on our shirt. So I'm gonna do that while we're here. So my heat press is already warmed up. I just have this colored shirt, as you know, something like this. This is cotton. So if you're, again, coming from sublimation world where you're like, how do I do darks? Can I do cotton? Yes, yes, yes. You can do white, you can do dark, you can do cotton. All right, so let's put this, I'm sorry, my back is to you. I'm gonna put this on here real quick, all right? I got my small heat press out for you so that, okay, you can see. Just gonna place it right on there and then gonna press. 20 seconds. Okay, when this is done, this is hot peel film. You can peel the film off immediately. There's also cold peel film if you prefer that. I have found that I like the hot peel better. I'm not a patient crafter. So when this is done, I just want it to be ready to go. Okay, so. Okay, I'm gonna try to peel this so you can see. And that's it, okay? So you've got white ink. You've got the ability to put on darks, lights, colors, cotton, polyester, rayon, whatever it is, you can put it on there, okay? I've actually been looking, people are using these on things that are not garments. So I'm gonna have to test that out, but right now I can tell you that you can do darks, lights, colors, whatever you want, okay? All right, so let's get to the rest of your questions because I know there are more. And we were starting to talk about the pros and cons. So we talked about how it's easy to set up. We talked about how there's a small learning curve. We talked about the washability already, which is very good. The stretchability of it. You can sell not only the transfer, you can also sell the finished garment. So you've got a good margin there of people that you can use. Or that you can sell to. There's no need to pre-treat the garment. I literally just pulled this shirt out of my basket. I think it still has the tag from Amazon on it. Okay, so you don't need to do any of that. As you saw, if you're coming from white toner or you're debating between the two, which I'll get to also, there's no need to marry. So you do have the process of putting on the powder, but you saw that was pretty fast and easy, as is the curing. It prints white, it's cost effective. Now, what are the cons? Look, if I could do one thing in my life, and I feel like I'm on a mission here to help all you small business people, but if I could do one thing, it would be to create a printer that did everything, a printer and a cutter that did everything. It print and cut great, it did white, it did black, it's, darks, lights, cottons, everything. There are some cons, okay? So, first of all, it comes in a giant wooden crate. Now, I have a video on YouTube of me opening the crate. It took me longer to open that crate than it did to set up the entire rest of that, and that includes adding the inks, charging the inks, and all of that. This thing, you would think there was $1 million hidden in that crate, the way that this thing is. I'm telling you, I called these people, I was like, you guys gotta switch, you gotta fix this. I understand you want this to be secure and all this, but holy cow, this is overkill, to say the least. Okay, it's slow to print. You saw how fast it was to print. You saw how slow it was to print. I call that relatively slow to print because if you print on a white toner printer, if you print on your Epson, if you print on your Sublimation, inkjet even, it prints faster than that. But what it's doing is laying down the color, ink, and then it's putting the white over top. So you can see, PC only. I could say that about all of my specialty printers. White toner, Roland, Ecosolvent, direct to film. All of them PC only. Finally, I've gotten myself a PC that I don't want to throw out the window. I'm getting used to it, but that is also a drawback. And it does require maintenance. It is, you know how you have like maybe a high maintenance kid? This is my high maintenance printer. It's not even that much, but it does require that after you print, every production day, it requires that you, not after every print, but after every day you print, it does require, 5-10 minutes of maintenance, okay? All right, and then we're gonna get into how do you compare this to the other printers? So how does it compare to white toner? How does it compare to Ecosolvent? I know you guys, I can see that actually sending me messages with more questions, so I'm gonna get to those, and then we'll come back to the comparisons. What type of, Anna is asking, how does it hold up in the dryer? We've talked about that really well. What type of paper? You need DTF film. That's from Angie. Where can I purchase the printer and the price? Kind of daily maintenance we've already touched on. I've linked to where I would recommend that you purchase it. High cost, $4,600 all in. Low cost, just the printer, about $3,100. Again, any bundle that you buy off my link, you can get 200 sheets of paper. That's $150 value, $140 value of extra film. So the links are all up top for that. Can we use Silhouette software? You actually don't even need to use any other software. If you are purchasing, say, a design from SoFancy, it comes with a PNG. You literally just import it into the RIP software for this, which is called CADLink, and then press print. There's nothing else to do. If you want to create your own designs, or you want to take a design and customize it, you can certainly do that in Silhouette Studio, export as a PNG, and then pull into this. This is not a design software. So if you want to do a design software, you can certainly use Silhouette Studio to do that, but you don't have to. If you could only invest in one t-shirt printer or tool to decorate shirts, what would it be? So as you saw, the ease of use for this is top notch. I have to say, if I was going to get a t-shirt, if I was only doing t-shirts, only doing shirts, this is a really good option. If I was already doing sublimation and I was struggling with darks or cottons, or I felt like my customers kept asking for things that I couldn't provide, again, a really good option. It takes some of the struggle that the white toner presents out of it, specifically the marrying process, okay? But, and I'm gonna get more into this, if you're also doing vinyl, adhesive vinyl, stickers, labels, banners, signs, and shirts, you might want to consider the BN, because the BN20 can do all of that. Again, though, you're cutting and weeding. So it really depends where your pain points are in your business or where you're looking to expand. I waited 24 hours before the first wash and colors. Did anyone else have this issue? These do not run. So I'm not sure if you use this printer or not, Colleen, but this wouldn't be a problem with that. Anne Marie is asking, I want to see the feel. Can you compare it to sublimation? We've kind of gotten to all of that. You are also asking, the average price is $9 per transfer, that is not the case here. As you saw, like I said, I have a cost calculator. It's about $1 per print. Okay, how does it compare to Roland? I'm going to get to that. Differences with the sublimation printer. So again, and I'll get to sublimation, but we've kind of touched on that. Now I know I have some additional questions, so I'm going to get to those here so that we can, I know you guys are asking some additional questions. So I'm going to bring my computer up here so that I can answer them. My girls are messaging me furiously, telling me you have more questions. Courtney, can I print from my sublimation printer onto this? No, you cannot. Tiffany, how long does it take to receive once it's purchased? They are shipping now, I believe. How caustic is this method? Well, I think you're asking what the cost is. As I said, the cost for this is about $1 per print. You're gonna pay it off relatively quickly. If you sell your shirts for, $15 to $20 and it costs you $1 per print, and actually, if you can do like a gang sheet, so you can put multiple designs all on the same page. You could, if you had a whole bunch of the same, which I did, you can go into the software and just say, you want multiple copies. All of these are the same. I printed 8 on the same sheet. So you can do that. Again, it kind of depends on what you're printing. Is there a huge learning curve? No. And that is one of the things that I really love about this. Like I said, you guys, I have everything from now direct to film, sublimation, Ecosolvent, white toner, inkjet, printable inkjets, multiple sublimation printers, obviously cutters. The learning curve on, and direct to garment even. So there is, of course, a learning curve, right? But it is not drastic. It is not drastic. And you have me. I already have a whole bunch of blog posts. I have how to set it up. I have how to do your first print start to finish. I have tips on troubleshooting. So you're gonna be okay. If you're on YouTube, I see my YouTube computer is about to die. So I apologize if this gets cut off. Switch over to Facebook if you want. Okay, Do you have to add the white on the back? No, you don't. You have control over the white, the amount of white, the choke, all of that. There's software settings that you can add to that. Tanya's asking. It can automatically add it to you. You saw the print that I printed this morning where I showed you live. I brought that design into the software right before I got on live, and I literally just pressed print. Do you find DTF is easier than using the white toner prints? I do, because you're avoiding that marrying process. If you're not familiar with how white toner works, you're printing similar to this with toner, so there's not a lot of maintenance, but you have to then marry or basically put two different sheets together with a heat press to apply the adhesive. And that ends up being a struggle and a pain point for people. It's really sensitive to heat press pressure and that kind of thing. So this, as you can see, is easy. Does the maintenance need to be done daily if it's not used? No, if it's not used, it doesn't need to be done daily, but if you're not gonna use it for a long time, then you wanna take out the little small cartridges and put you can get empty ones. The maintenance is really because you don't want the ink getting gummy and stuck in the lines, okay? So you can avoid that by running the printer. Obviously, the more you run it, the better. But you can also do head and nozzle cleanings and that type of thing. How bad are the fumes? It's not. To be honest, I actually sometimes forget to turn the filter on. But the fumes are not that bad. My kids have not complained about that at all. There's been other printers, even, I forget what it even is. They're like, what is that smell? Mom, like, stop with this. You know, there's really no smell. Is there an automatic shaker for the powder? There is. Swing, I think, just added the automatic shaker. That's gonna, of course, that's optional. If you're doing high volume, that might be something that you want to consider because that will help you with production as well. So obviously you can keep printing. You can put a stack of film in here and just have it keep printing, keep the stuff in queue and keep printing. I just did the one and only put one sheet in there, but you can do that. And of course, the one thing that I do like is because you can print and then you want to put the powder on right away, but once the powder's on there and it's cured, you don't need to press that on a shirt right away. It's fine. You can stack them all up and it's fine. Okay. Okay, Taylor's asking how often should you print? You want to print relatively often, as I said, or if you don't, there are things that you can do to keep it. Look, I'm the type of person, because of what I do, that I don't use all my printers every day. I don't use all my printers every week, sometimes not even every month. So there are ways that you can still keep your printers in good working order, and you want to, without using them every day, okay? So, oh, I should also tell you, this all comes apart. So I'm gonna turn this off while we're standing here. So so this whole like snaking pipe system thing, it's all like, I was able to fit it in the drawer here, okay? The oven, I slid underneath. If you guys are familiar with my office, I have this big green console here. I slid it right under that. The filter goes on the other side of the printer, and then it all fits away. I didn't move anything else in my office. It all fit, and you can see how busy my office is here, okay? All right, so let me get back to this last question that I wanted to talk about, which is the comparison between some of the other specialty business level printers that I've talked about. So first, how does it compare to white toner? And then I'll get to Roland, because I've extensively talked about both, right? The reason that I do that and the reason that I do all of this is so you can decide what's the best one for you and your business, right? Like I said, if I could create a printer that worked for every situation and solution, believe me, I would. Okay, so they both print white. White toner, this direct to film Prestige A3+, they both print white. There's no cutting and no weeding for either. Huge plus for both, right? So a white toner printer, which I wish I could bring it right over here, smaller footprint, okay? You don't need this whole setup for a white toner printer. My white toner printer could fit right here, okay? It excels on paper. I love using my white toner printer to print white on paper or to print black toner on paper, because then you can add foil. So that printer can do transfers. It can also do hard goods, the white toner. It can also do paper. This one's film, okay? So just keep that in mind. There's no maintenance on the white toner printer because it has used toner, so there's no risk of ink getting stuck in the lines. It's a less expensive machine. You're about at least well, if you were just to buy this printer and none of the rest of the setup, not the ink or anything, you would be in line with the white toner printer around 31, mid threes. But if you're buying all of this, the white toner is going to save you about $1,000. Okay. However, there are some cons to the white toner that the DTF fills in the gap for. Smaller size transfer. So you can do larger size transfers with the direct to film printer. The software is a lot easier to use. They look identical, but the setup process for white toner designs, if you're used to the rasterization and all of that, a lot more clunky and cumbersome, in my opinion. Okay, this literally import print. The marrying process can be tricky with the white toner. This one does not require that. You saw what I was doing. Both are PC only, and the material, specifically the sheets and the toner replacements for the white toner, are a lot more expensive. This you can get, I think it was 200 sheets of film of the large, excuse me, 11 by 16, 200 sheets of that for $140. Okay, so obviously less than $1 each. When you get into white toner printer, white toner printing, you will see there are some materials that are upwards of $2, $3 per sheet. Okay, so you gotta weigh the options for what is best for you. Okay, now BN20, that's my Ecosolvent printer. That printer shines, excels with hard goods. Because it can print, basically, you guys know what Oracal 651 is. It can essentially print on that, okay? And you're printing and cutting. It's a printer and a cutter, all right? This obviously doesn't cut. It doesn't need to cut, okay? The BN20 is 20 inches wide, and you can print infinitely long. So you have a wider area, all right? It's great with paper-based products. So sticker paper, label paper, banner paper, canvas, I know that's not paper-based, vinyl, heat transfer vinyl. So the diversity and the versatility of the BN20 is almost unmatched. It requires cutting and it requires weeding. As opposed to this, no cutting, no weeding. It requires cut line setups, which, by the way, I'm working on a full course for you for that. If you're into BN20, that ends up being the biggest pain point for people, is creating cut lines. It doesn't have to be, okay? And you can do all of that in Silhouette Studio, and then you have to transfer it to a PC-only software called VersaWorks to print. So that, again, PC. So this is why I have a designated PC, because all these printers that I'm talking about are only working for PC. There is no white ink on the BN20. If you get the BN20, there's no white ink on the BN20A, which is the one I have. If you get the BN20, that can print white, as this can print white. However, you're printing mostly on white material, so the white ink shows through it just as the material in the negative space. So you still get the look of white, okay? You can make, with a BN20, you can make t-shirt transfers, vinyl decals, stickers. Like I said, it's versatile. You do end up with a hand because you're making a transfer on a material, and then you're transferring that whole thing. The ink is on the transfer material. With this, you saw the ink is just being laid down on the film. So there's really no hand there. I mean, there's a small, it feels like screen print, okay? And that's a single machine. The the BN20 is a single machine. You don't need this whole setup. Now, as I mentioned, if you're just joining, you don't need the whole oven and filter right away. I would highly recommend it, but you can get away with the curing process using a heat press, specifically if you have a clamshell, or not a clamshell, a swing away heat press where the top can hover, okay? All right, so that is pretty much all that I wanted to cover in this hopefully extensive intro to DTF. I'm going to check my messages one more time to see if any more questions came in. It looks like, let's see. Hold on, I gotta refresh. I'm getting questions. Thank you all for joining. This has been so awesome. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I don't have any more questions. So I think we are all set there. And if you have more questions, feel free to leave them on Facebook, Facebook, you can email me, you can put them on YouTube. If you are, again, if you are considering this, it's a really great option for, you know, small businesses that are selling t-shirts and transfers, custom transfers, different things like that. I will be adding, as you know, if you're on Silhouette U, my premium website, where we offer, you know, one-on-one help and exclusive videos. We recently, within the last couple months, added a whole business section. So every month I add a new business video, and that is really focused on these business level, what I call prosumer setups. So Roland, the BT12, that's the direct to garment, the DTF Prestige, the white toner, the wide format sublimation. So if you're needing help with any of that, I do offer all of that one-on-one help, live Q&As, everything through Silhouette U. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you checking out. And if you're interested again in DTF, I have tons of resources I linked to up top for you. And of course, lots of stuff on the blog and YouTube already, so go check it out.